Today we are moving on to 2.8, which is rewriting equations in formulas. We need to make sure we pay attention on this. This gives some people problems throughout the years. This is also our last section before the end of this chapter, so we'll look at a chapter 2 test sometime next week, it looks like. We'll probably review our next class and then the test following that. So first one, 3x plus 2y equals 8. 3x plus 2y equals 8. And it says, write this problem so that y is a function of x. Y is a function of x. All right, so that terminology, the only reason I'm putting it on there is because you might see it on a test, but let's not really worry about that. When it says this, all this means is solve for y. So that's all we're doing. We're trying to get y alone. So notice we have two variables here, x and y. These are not like terms because they're different variables. So what we want to do is get y alone. In order to get y alone, we have to get rid of this 3x and we have to get rid of this 2. So the first thing we do, so whatever's connected with the variable, that's the last thing we move. So we want to move this whole 3x. How can we get rid of 3x? We subtract it. So this cancels out over here. So we can bring our 2y down. And then on the right side, here's where people get confused because they go 8 minus 3x is 5x. These are not like terms, so we cannot subtract them. So we just put them there. So we're going to put negative 3x plus 8. Some people are probably thinking, well, why isn't it 8 minus 3x? It means the same thing, but we always want to put our variable first. That's why it's negative 3x plus 8. That would mean the same thing as 8 minus 3x. Okay, so our last step is to get rid of this 2. How are we going to get rid of the 2? We want to keep the y there, so what we're going to do is divide by 2. The key here is we have to divide each term by 2. So we're going to divide this by 2 and this by 2. So we get y equals this fraction, negative 3 over 2x. 8 over 2 is going to simplify to 4. We leave this as an improper fraction. We don't change it to a mixed number. There's your answer. We wrote y as a function of x. Y is a function of x there. We got y alone. That was the key. Let's do the same thing again. I'll use a different color. Let's go negative 4x minus 2y equals 20. Same thing, we want to get y alone. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of this negative 4x. What we're going to do is add 4x. So we're going to add 4x to both sides. This cancels out, we're left with negative 2y. We want to write this in the right, we can't combine these, remember, just a regular number, there's a variable. We write 4x plus 20. Next thing we have to do is we're going to get rid of this negative with it. So we're going to divide each term by negative 2. Y equals 4. So over here we left this improper fraction. Well, we could simplify this. 4 over negative 2 is negative 2. So it's y equals negative 2x minus 10. Let's do another one like that. 3y minus 13x plus 2y equals 25. Okay, so we can see what's different here is we have like terms on the left side. We have a 3y and it's a positive 2y. So we're going to combine those to start. 3y plus 2y is 5y. So now we have 5y minus 13x equals 25. Now we add 13x to both sides. We're left with 5y, because this cancels, equals 13x plus 25. Divide each term by 5. Y equals, they can't simplify that, so it's 13 over 5x. That simplifies to 5. All right, let's do a different one. It says the area of a triangle is given by this formula. So we're going to use the same method, it's just a little different. Here's the formula to find area of a triangle. A equals, so area equals 1/2 the base times the height. Our question asks us, it says, solve the equation for the height. So if it's asking us to solve for the height, that means we need to get this by itself. We need to get the h alone. So to get the h alone, we're going to have to get rid of this 1/2, and we're going to have to get rid of this b. All right, the easiest thing, let's get rid of this 1/2 first. How can we notice that these are like multiplied by each other when they're next to each other like that? So we're going to have to do the opposite of multiplying by 1/2 would be to divide by 1/2. Now, this terminology is going to get us confused. So basically, if I want to cancel out 1/2, what do I need to do to it? I need to multiply it by 2. And I'm multiplying it by 2 over 1, right? Because I want to cancel that out. 2 over 1 is the same as saying 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 over 1. So now 2 over 1 times a would be 2a equals. This 2 over 1 times that, it's going to cancel it out. Okay, I hope we're still with me here. Regardless, if you're confused by this, just ask me now. If not, let's try to get the rest of this done. So we want to get h alone. So how do we get, they're connected through multiplication. So to get rid of it, to get rid of the b, we're going to have to divide by b. Obviously, we can't divide that. So we're just going to leave that 2a over b equals h. Okay, so let me see if we have another example. Okay, on your homework, I'm going to give you this. P equals 2L. That's a cursive L, I know. Usually you don't put a 1 there, or you don't put just a normal L because it would look like a 1. And you traditionally don't use capital letters on this side of the equation. All right, what you're going to have to do is solve for W on your homework. On your homework, you're going to have to solve for W. So to get W by itself, remember this 2 is the last thing we're moving. So don't worry about that 2 yet. The first thing we have to get rid of is this 2L. This problem is just like that problem. Okay, so if you're unsure about how to solve this for W, refer to the up top there. Because when you subtract 2L, you're just going to have P minus 2L.